episode 142, our favorite five edition. My name is Craig. That's Brian. We've got a spotlight of the night for you, picking five guys that we will start a franchise with. And we got Brian. How you doing this week?
Exhausted. If I had to put it in one word, it'd be exhausted.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So, and then we've got, after the spotlight, we've got some headlines. We've got the Brittany Griner verdict. We've got a Matthew Stafford kind of a phantom injury. We've got the Watson saga continuing and much more right after this. All right, welcome back. Tonight, our spotlight of the week is going to be our favorite five guys in the NFL that we would pick to start a franchise with if we were starting over from scratch. These are five guys that are could be any position, any you could quarterbacks, running backs, it doesn't matter. Just five guys that you want to start a franchise with and that you would build your team around if you kind of drafted all over again. We're gonna go bottom to top, I guess. 5-1 doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. There's no kind of order.
No
It's just
ranking. Yeah, it's just five different guys. So why don't you give me your first one?
Well, my first one is to me the most important position on the field, which is the quarterback. To me, it was between two guys. I'm going with Joe Burrow. And it was between Joe Burrow and I almost went Justin Herbert. I almost picked Justin Herbert. I really like both these guys. I just thought what Joe Burrow just did, coming off a season where he's the most sacked quarterback, coming off his torn, his broken knee, torn ACL, blown up. He's had it all, blown up knee. Doing what he just did, I got to roll with Cool Joe. And it tells me a lot about him, a lot about his character, his leadership, and the Bengals look scary this season and hopefully for the near future. But I got Joe Burrow, very young. I liked him in LSU. He can make all the passes. He can move out of the pocket. I almost went with Justin Herbert because he's a little bit better on the run. I think as far as rolling out, a little more athletic ability there. But Joe Burrow is just too cool for me not to choose as my franchise quarterback.
And we're paddling in the same boat, so don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll take Justin, and we'll you can have him, and I'll take Justin, and we'll all get it covered.
Yeah.
Because I just love Justin Herbert. I don't know why, but this kid is just got everything. If Josh Allen was a little bit younger, a year or two younger, I'd probably roll with him. But
I thought you might have chose him as your quarterback.
And again we have a three-way right there deal of all three of the same guys. If I was going to pick a quarterback, it would have been one of those three, and I just went with Herbert just because of youth and the arm that can make all the throws and
all the throws. Yep.
You put him in a situation he hasn't really won. The only problem I have with Justin is he hasn't won the big game. He hasn't when the time comes, he always seems to leave some on the field, whereas Burrow and Josh Allen have kind of proven themselves in that aspect, even though and I don't blame Josh Allen for the AFC Championship last year. I mean, he did his part. He left 7 seconds on the clock. He kind of figured it was done. He can't play defense, but but in situations like that, Herbert kind of lays an egg. It was almost like they were playing for the tie last year because the tie would get them into the playoffs, and that's disappointing. So hopefully this year he sheds that that moniker and checks the box of when the game is on the line, the big game is on the line. He does what he needs to do. But I'm going to go with Herbert in that aspect just because I just like the youth and I like the way he throws the ball and I like the way he carries himself.
I wrote down Justin Herbert and then I deleted him. And the one thing the two things that actually led me to go with Joe Burrow is I looked at Herbert and what you just said. He hasn't proven that he's even in college he hasn't won that big game. And then his interceptions, he was through 15 interceptions last year.
He throws some in the crucial point. Jeff comes in and he's commenting saying what's up. Sorry couldn't join us tonight, but
he's going to see Top Gun with the family in town.
Well, welcome. Yeah.
Craig loves Top Gun, so.
Yes, sir. There's other people not naming any names that don't love it, so.
Hey,
I couldn't get through the first one somehow, but
I rewatched the first one. Yeah. I wasn't in love with it, but I'm going to watch the second one eventually.
Only the greatest movie ever made. We can't get through it though. All right.
Nice.
So all right, on to number 2. What do you got on number 2 there?
Well, number 2, I got his running mate, Jamar Chase. I couldn't think of a better duo. Young, this guy coming off of last year from the off season. All we heard was he's dropping everything. He can't catch a ball, and he comes out and has a season. He does. This is a guy that can run every route. He's a guy that can make you miss. And he's a guy that can break your ankles he can take it all. He's a home run threat right off the bat. Him and his chemistry with Joe Burrow is too hard for me to turn down. I really like this kid, young and talented. So I got a great quarterback, wide receiver chemistry starting off my franchise. What about you at number 2?
I'm in the same boat. I love Jamar Chase, and he absolutely did not let the preseason that he had last year bother him. A lot of kids would have folded under that pressure and kind of laid down, and he just took it in stride. He's taken this Madden rating, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's ready to have another.
What a horrible.
Solid season there, and I just think that this kid can make any catch. He's not scared to go over the middle. He's not scared to go deep. When they needed him last year in the playoffs, he stepped up. He had a good Super Bowl. He had he faces double teams. He faces whatever. He takes it on and just takes it in stride. And I would 100% absolutely take Jamar Chase and have that locked down.
He looked like a veteran out there last year.
He absolutely did.
That was the safety blanket
when I drafted him in fantasy football. There was 7 other people that went, "What are you doing?" And then about I don't know, week 10, my trade chart was just blowing up of, "Hey, you want to get rid of him? Oh, the guy that nobody wanted, that I was an idiot for? Yeah, let's do that." So absolutely, Jamar Chase is an absolute number 1. He's an absolute number 1 for the Bengals. He's an absolute top 5 in the NFL, and he's going to be one for the next decade.
I almost went with what's his name, Justin Jefferson from Minnesota.
Give me a minute.
I think highly unrated.
Yeah. Give me a minute. We'll get there.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Highly underrated guy. Just great, fantastic ball player. But I get to face him twice a year, so
yeah,
I get to see a lot of him.
All right, so on to number 3.
Who do you got? You want me to go first?
I mean, I just kind of spoiled it. I mean, I'll give it to you.
Justin Jefferson.
The other day, Jamar Chase made the comment. He's like, "I am better than him. I was better than him in LSU, and I'm better than him now." And I think that is a great I mean, Justin Jefferson is a stud, and he's great in Minnesota. He can run all the routes. He's a speedster. He catches the ball. I mean, I think he's kind of a Jamar Chase 2.0. And you put him on one side and Jefferson on the other, and man, that would be a duo that you would not want to face week in and week out.
No, it would not.
Because you can't only double team one of them. So you're going to have to pick your poison if you have, when you were in LSU, you understand why Burrow's numbers were so good is because somebody was always open because you just can't cover both of them. And so absolutely, I think Chase, he catches the ball. He doesn't have a lot of drops. He doesn't have a lot of injuries. He's not a trouble off the field. He's not a trouble in the locker room. These guys are both stand-up guys, and I would absolutely start the thing with both of them.
Well, I didn't mean to give away yours, but I got our first defensive player on the list, and I thought about going with another wide receiver and another maybe a tight end. I'm going with J.R. Alexander, cornerback for the Green Bay Packers, top 3 cornerback in the NFL. Last season, he got hurt making a big tackle. He missed a lot of last year, but when he plays, he's locked down. He's one of the best in the league, fighting there with Ramsey for the number 1 spot at times. He's a beast. You don't throw his way or it's not going to work out for you. He's a lockdown cornerback, and that's a must-have in a passing league that we have to cover all these great wide receivers and these great quarterbacks. So I went defensive there. I thought it was very important to lock down a top cornerback in the NFL.
Agreed. It is. So I do have a defensive player as well, and that's Aaron Donald. He single-handedly won the Rams the Super Bowl last year.
No one played on that last play except Aaron Donald.
If they could have blocked Aaron Donald for 2 more plays, the Cincinnati Bengals win the Super Bowl, and they did not because they couldn't. And in the biggest moment, on the biggest night, and the biggest year, Aaron Donald stepped up, and the guy is just an animal. The guy, there's nobody that can really block him when he wants to. He just proved when I have one guy to go get, and the game was on the line, and you need me to go get that guy, I'm gonna go get him. And he's every year he doesn't miss games. He just never injured. He doesn't lay out. He doesn't hold out for money. Like, you just have heard nothing other than this guy showing up and ready to work and ready to sack the quarterback, and he plays the run well, and he holds the edge well. And Aaron Donald's just a stud. And if you had a bunch of him on the defensive side, you'd win a lot of more football games with Aaron Donald. So
this one might shock you, Craig. I went another defensive guy, but I went Micah Parsons. Guy's an absolute beast. Could be the steal of the draft for the Dallas Cowboys last year. Absolute beast. And I wouldn't play him as linebacker. He would be rushing a quarterback every down, every snap, and he gets to the quarterback. That wasn't even his full-time job last year, and he did it better than 90% of the league last season, getting to the quarterback. This guy's an absolute stud. You can put him at linebacker. He's very versatile. He can guard. We saw him guard a wide receiver last year. He said, "Oh, this guy is wide open. Let me go guard him." He runs as fast as a wide receiver. He's built like a Mack truck. I really like this guy. It kills me that he's on the Cowboys because I can't stand him. I don't want to face him when Green Bay. I don't want him to touch Aaron Rodgers. But he's an absolute beast, and he's going to be better this season. I'm hoping he gets to Brady a lot that first game. But especially with their injuries. But I got Micah Parsons, guys. He's young, fresh, ready to go, ready to roll this season. So I got Micah Parsons there.
That's my number 5 is right there with it is Parsons, and he can cover, he can rush, he gives the defensive coordinator in Dallas just a utility knife. He absolutely can do whatever needs to be done. Tight ends get locked down, wide receivers, whatever. Um, he can catch the back coming on the wheel routes, and he can stick with them. And not too many linebackers can do that. Normally, when you see a linebacker on a running back or a linebacker on a tight end or a linebacker on a wide receiver, it's an automatic mismatch, and that's the guy you're going to. With Micah Parsons, that just isn't the case. And he's not too big for the game. He hasn't let the success that he's had in the NFL. He wasn't this in at Penn State. He was good, but he wasn't this. He wasn't a superstar. So when they drafted him, everybody was like, "Oh, I don't really know." But I don't know if it's the relationship with Quinn or the freedom Quinn's given him or what this is, but Micah Parsons hit the NFL and just became a household name. He was on every highlight. He's breaking up pass plays. He's rushing the quarterback. He's making fumbles. Every time the Dallas Cowboys needed to get off the football field, Micah Parsons seemed to be involved. And I hope that you're right. I hope that this year becomes the Micah Parsons show. And I almost went with his counterpart, Trayvon Diggs. Diggs is very solid, but he also gives up the big play. He's kind of live or die, and is willing to give up 40 to try to get the big pick.
I would say
the only reason I didn't pick him.
I would say hold off on Diggs. I don't think he's that guy yet.
Because he does get his hands on the ball and he does get to the ball, but I think if the quarterbacks are just patient and let him overcommit, that he will, and so I hope this year he's a little less jumpy and a little less deal and is more into the coverage aspect and not as I want the ball,
Right.
Get the ball when it comes to you, but don't try to get it on every play.
Now, my number 5, and I thought about this. I thought about going with another wide receiver, maybe a tight end, but I thought Joe Burrow doesn't have that great of offensive line, so I'm going to give him one. Left tackle Tristan Wirfs from Tampa Bay, straight up beast, coming in day one, and was already the shutdown left tackle. You're not getting past him. He protects Brady, does a dang good job at it. I needed some protection there for Joe Burrow. Another position, I think, too, left tackle, very important to have, and know that no one's coming from that side. So I got Tristan Wirfs there to help keep my quarterback upright and where he can throw the football.
Yeah.
So very important, very important.
No, yeah, that is. I mean, that is if you're starting a football team, the offensive line is never a bad place to go. So that's a wrap there. I mean, you could have gone a million different ways with this.
It's an interesting topic and interesting
you've got running backs. You got Jonathan Taylor and a couple guys, that you could go with. But the bottom line is these are the 5 guys that just jump out to my deal. A lot of those, Donald's a little older and been in the league a few years, but for the most part, these guys been in the league a year or two and have really taken the league by storm. And Herbert seems to get better every year. Jamar Chase hit the ground running.
Straight up.
Jefferson hit the ground running. He's been a huge asset for Kirk Cousins. It just, these guys are, and then defensively, Micah Parsons just defensive rookie of the year and almost completely defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't probably too far off from getting that. So now we will transition into the headlines of the week right after this. So the first headline we have for the night is the verdict for the Brittany Griner case has come down, and she was found guilty of illegal drugs and smuggling, and sentenced to 9 years in the Russian prison. I don't know your take on this, Brian. I have kind of a mixed review on this because of who it is and because of what's going on and the attention. What's your take on this?
Well, 9 years is steep. I don't care who it is. I don't care if she likes or hates America. I think we have to put that aside here because this is a human being, right? And this human being did something stupid, and she made a mistake, and she admits it. This is a lady that will be not with her family. If she sits over there for 9 years, which I don't think will happen. If she sits over there for 9 years, there goes her career. Her career is over with. Her family misses her dearly. That side of me is the side that goes, I feel really bad for Brittany Griner, right? The humanity part of it. But I think they had to sentence her 9 years, and a deal will get done, and she'll be back over here um, before those 9 years. I don't think this is a real sentence. I think this is just okay. We're going to give her 9 years. Now maybe you'll give us what we want, and Brittany Griner will be home sooner than later. I don't think she actually sits 9 years in prison. That's what I think this is, and they had to get her sentenced and processed, and we'll see what happens from here. But I think that's where it goes. If Brittany Griner is actually going to sit in a Russian prison for 9 years, I feel pretty bad about her, regardless of how she feels about America. Then you got to set that aside at this point. I mean, I don't agree with her stance, but she's able to have the stance because this is America. So I feel bad for her and her family. I get the controversy. I get the people that. I mean, I'm not a Brittany Griner fan. I don't watch the WNBA, and I don't care if she plays again. Just get her home for her family. That's what I got to say. Just get her home for her family, and think about it. If it was one of your family members, you'd probably want them back too. So,
Yeah, and to a point I agree, but here's the problem I'm having is here is a American sports figure who knew what was going on with the country of Russia, knew they were in war with Ukraine, knew that the United States of America had put sanctions on Russia, knew the relationship with Russia and the United States was not great at the time, and still chose to go to Russia and still chose to take these hemp
yep,
pens, whatever they are, over there with her. Here's the problem I have is we are making a huge deal out of this, and she's an American and needs to come home when there's another American over there,
yep.
Mark Fogel,
No one
who
knows
got
about.
sentenced to 14 years for a half an ounce of medical marijuana, and no one knows that name.
Right.
No one. Haven't heard from him. His wife Jane wants him home just as bad as Brittany Griner's wife wants him, her wife home.
Yep.
And nobody, no, we're not trading the terrorist of destruction for Mark Fogel. We're not making deals with the devil for him. We're gonna let him rot out for 14 years in a Russian prison and never bring that name up. And
I agree,
because Brittany
100%.
Griner plays in the WNBA,
Which no one watches.
which 17 people watch, and it's on the ESPN Ocho, that we want to run and send SEAL Team 6 through the front door and throw flashbangs off and bring Brittany Griner home. Listen, that's great. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it for everybody, though. We're not
Right.
going to special case for Brittany Griner, who knowingly went over to Russia and took this stuff with her and put it in her bag and knew what the chances she was taking, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to drop everything,
Right.
run and get Brittany Griner.
No,
But if we're going to do it, we needed to do it for Fogel. We needed to do it for the other American teacher that's in there who might be pregnant, and there's names that nobody knows, nobody discusses, nobody brings up, and all of a sudden, Brittany Griner's over there, and it's, hey, stop the press. We didn't. The American embassy didn't put my phone call through to my wife, and she's an NBA superstar. Well, no, she's not. She's a WNBA player who chose to go play a game or a pickup game or whatever she decided to go to Russia for.
Extra money. That's what it was.
Yes, and now took her hemp, pens or whatever with her, and now you're having to pay the consequence.
Right.
Don't go to Russia. Don't do what you need to do, and know what you're getting yourself into. Patrick says they sure care about her, but not the people left to die in Afghanistan. They care because she's left some American hating the flag kneeling turd. So, yeah, and that's right. I mean, here's a woman who wouldn't stand for the national anthem and wouldn't deal and wears the Black Lives Matter t-shirts during NBA warm-up, and all that's great. You can do that because you're an American. We give you the freedom to be able to voice your opinion. But I bet the national anthem sound awful good right now, or hearing that bang go off and hearing guys come through the front door going, we're Americans and we're here to take you home. I bet she's wishing that right now.
Yeah.
And it just bothers me that we're making such a huge deal out of one, but not the other.
I've always seen one article that actually mentioned a trading for Brittany and the guy you talked about. I don't remember his name, but the guy you just talked about. But look at the humanity part of me. Yeah, let's bring. I want to bring them all home. I don't even know who's
absolutely.
All over there.
But what I'm saying is, you can't go and make the deal for one just because they're a superstar.
Yeah,
and leave the rest of them to rot and the rest in prison for the same time.
Now, and people go, well, that's steep 9 years. Well, that's not my job to come up with these punishments or sentencing. That's not my job. That's Russia's job to do that. So we may think it's harsh. In Russia, that's the rules. That's the law. She broke the law. She's not innocent. People want to act like this, that she's innocent. She went over there. She broke the law. These are the consequences. And if Joe Biden, whatever, wants to go over there and get her out, bring him all home. Not just Brittany Griner, because she's honestly, I think they were like, oh, this is a superstar, and they got Brittany Griner, and we're like, we really don't care. I mean,
yeah.
Her family cares, but I don't care.
We added a few years to the Russian sentence of the terrorist of destruction or whatever because he was Russian. And I'm sure. I mean, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, that this is if this was 2 years ago when we're not feuding with Russia and we're not sanctioning Putin and making life miserable on him, then this is probably never a story. She come home, they let her go, they slap her on the wrist, and they go on about their day. But because they're in war with Ukraine and we're got sanctions on them, and it's a whole circle of this, Putin's like, go ahead, do what you need to do.
You know what's funny? I keep saying, saw something today that said somebody said that, if it was Taylor Swift, she would have been brought home already.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard.
Well, first of all, Taylor Swift's way bigger than Brittany Griner. Okay, it's not even come close. Secondly, it doesn't have anything to do with the color of the skin. So let's drop that stupid excuse that people want to use.
Yeah, the bottom line is Brittany Griner was big at Baylor, and I haven't even honestly heard what kind of career she's had in the WNBA.
Here's the question, Greg. What the hell are we doing sending anybody over there when this is going on?
Yeah.
And she went over there for extra money. She makes over $200,000 a year. I'm not going to Russia if I don't want to. She said she didn't want to go over there. She went over there for extra cash. Exactly. Don't go. It's not like she was forced to.
Yeah,
she
they're in the
broke
middle
the
of a
law.
war. Yeah, I mean, you want to go play basketball or whatever you were going to do for this extra money? Why missiles and bombs are going over your head? No, I'm good.
No,
I'm
yeah,
not doing it.
And someone I saw us on Facebook. They were talking about this, and she went over there for extra money. And some guy goes, I don't know about
Hope
you
it's worth
guys.
it now.
I don't know about you guys, but if I made over $200,000 a year, I'm not going anywhere extra to make extra money. So,
Yeah.
She went over there, she broke the law, and this is what she's going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that part of it. And then you have the other part of it that's okay. Let's bring her home. It's the humane part of it. I understand both sides, but I'm not dying. I don't want to release the whatever of death for her. No, sorry, but it is what it is. She broke the law in Russia, and I feel bad for her a little bit. And part of me is like, well, that's what you have to deal with for breaking the law in Russia. And why are you going over to Russia with what is the WNBA? Now look, Patrick. All right, I don't want to kill the WNBA, but you know what's funny for all these people out there that go, oh man, LeBron James makes more money a year than the whole WNBA, and you got the lefty side of it saying that women's rights. Okay, look, the reason the WNBA is still in its existence is because the NBA pays for them. If it wasn't for the NBA, they would not even be around. And you want to talk about, well, here's how sports work. The more people watch it, the more money they make. That's why the NFL kills every other sport when it comes to competing against them. No one wants to battle up against the NFL. They make so much money. The NBA players get paid more money because people watch them. No one watches the NBA. So for all the Democrats or the lefties that are all complaining about that, I want to see everyone go be the biggest WNBA fan. If this really bugs you, that's how you get them to make more money. That's how you get them to get equal, which they're never going to have equal pay for that because no one's going to become fans. But that's how it happens. Go watch, go be a fan, go buy jerseys, go to sporting events. That's how you do it. It's that simple math. It's that simple. But everyone wants to, oh no, they want to complain about it. Don't give me none of that. And the only way I'll become a WNBA fan is if one of my 4 girls turns into a WNBA star. I'll be the biggest WNBA fan of all time. But until then, I don't watch. It's not entertaining. Their entertainment is a girl might dunk, and I see that every game in the NBA and in the WNBA, you see it maybe once a year. That's their highlight. Oh my gosh, she dunked. The guys dunk like 80 billion times a game. Like it doesn't. So I don't know. I'm not trying to get on a whole WNBA rant here, but that's the problem. You need to have these people that are complaining about the pay for the WNBA. You need to start gathering them all up, and it's a lot of them are probably women too. Go be fans. That's how they make money. It's that simple. That simple.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
Transition into highlight number 2.
We're getting canceled tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
You could field those emails. That would be Brian at Outspoken Sportscast for your WNBA hot take email. Okay, highlight number 2 is the NFL has filed a appeal on the Deshaun Watson case, and we kind of knew that it should be coming because of it didn't come right away. They waited a day or two, but I like this for a couple different reasons. I like this because I didn't agree with the original 6 games. I thought it should be more. And Most American did. And I like this because Roger Goodell did not do this himself. He has appointed an attorney general to oversee the appeal hearing, still removing himself from being the problem that we had with the under the old CBA was Roger Goodell was the judge, the jury, the executioner. He made all the rules, he made all the suspensions, the appeals went through Roger Goodell, the case went through Goodell, and basically if Goodell didn't like you, you were getting as many games as Roger Goodell said you should get. So with this attorney general hearing it, we're still going to have the appeal from the NFL. We're still going to have the Players Association. The Players Association answered the appeal today. They responded today with their side of it, saying we don't think he should be suspended for more. The NFL wants a longer suspension to be almost a full season or a full season, and close to what I'm reading is an $8 million fine, which I also agree with because of this the Cleveland Browns basically loopholing the system and turning his whole salary this year into a signing bonus. He got a $40 million signing bonus, and he's counting a little over $1 million on their cap. Well, that means when you suspend a player, the only money that can be gone after is the money that is on this year's cap. So he's only going to lose $345,000. Well, for a guy that has $40 million signing bonus and a $280 million contract,
pocket change,
to only lose $345,000, he doesn't care. So if you give him an $8 million fine and cost him his whole season, now maybe we have his attention. So I like this from the aspect that Goodell didn't do it himself, and I like the aspect that we're not going to let this thing die.
Yeah, we can't let it die. And Roger Goodell wants 17 games. He wants a fine, and I agree. I agree. Deshaun Watson shouldn't touch the football field this season. We've been, me and you have been up front with this the whole time of what we think of the sexual predator over there in Cleveland. I like it. I like that. I like exactly what you said. Roger Goodell's not the one running it. He is the one. He is one fighting on the. I finally can agree with Roger Goodell on something. He's fighting on the right side of this, and I'm interested to see what the Players Association. I wonder what other players think about it around the league as well. But I'm hoping that I'm hoping that he gets fined and suspended a full season.
I think the Players Association take on it is their problem with this is where does it stop? You have Kamara that is facing a lengthy suspension for I don't even know what. We keep reading that he's facing a suspension. We're not really sure what he did. I guess
he beat
it's
up
the
a guy.
domestic.
Yeah, I guess it's
You
that.
know, you know. But I think the Players Association is just trying to not let this thing get out of control to the point where we can suspend. Oh, you violated this. Well, now you're going to miss 30 games. You're going to miss 40 games. I think they're trying to cut this off before it becomes you can suspend me for a career or you can ruin a guy's career over a domestic violence or over a false charge or over whatever.
And the judge basically came out and said, "I had to rule this way because your previous rulings were that way." So the player association's going. The judge said it herself. This is how you rule these things. Why are you trying to add more on here? And that's something that the NFL's overlooked a little bit. And
the wording in the CBA did not say, based on the severity of the case, we can adjust the suspension. It just said if you violate the conduct policy of the NFL, it's 6 games.
Right.
And domestic violence is 6 games. And so basically everybody thought it was going to be 6 games. But to me, this is not domestic violence. This is sexual assault. And although there's not criminal charges, there is enough smoke here. And where there's smoke, there's fire. There's enough smoke here. and enough bad publicity for the NFL, which they do not need right now.
Terrible publicity.
And I don't think we're done hearing about this. I think that probably down the road will be more women that eventually come out and say that this all happened. But
Could be years from now.
Basically the attorney for the women that have filed said that the 6-game suspension and the $345,000 fine was an absolute slap in the face to every woman that had to be in that room for 30, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, however long it was, with this guy doing what he did. And
the biggest reason to me that that this is 6 games and that it was kind of a slap on the wrist is the word non-violent. These were apparently non-violent things. They never became domestic violence. It never became a violent. There was no violent act in what they say to charge them criminally. And they even talked. The judge even talked about that in her statement last week about it's a non-violent act, and because these were all settled out, and these didn't go criminal. I think it's a big thing too. Is he didn't physically, I guess, beat him up, abuse him. I don't know, but she said the key in there was that they were non-violent, and that's why she stuck with the 6 games.
And that is true to an extent. He didn't leave any bruises. He didn't physically slap anybody or anything like that, but he did put 66 women in a real awkward spot. And maybe some of them embrace that with different.
Well, there are some that agreed to have sex with them,
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe some of them embrace that in a different light, and maybe some of them didn't. But the fact of it is this guy was paying for one service and offering a different service, and to me, that is something that needs to be. And the fact that he knew what he was doing and was passing out non-disclosure agreements like they were going out of style. And I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong and all this is consensual and all this is on the up and up, what do you need a non-disclosure agreement for? What are we not disclosing about this massage therapy that you don't want people to know? Why did you come to the Houston Texans to begin with and go, this lady says she could ruin my career? Why? Well, probably because you did something that wasn't on the list of normal massage.
And I like how the Houston Texans we got
something for you.
They straight up just dodged the question. They didn't even ask that question. It was just, hey, here's some paperwork.
Yeah, here. I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
But this is what you give them the next time she says she's going to ruin your career. Sign this.
Common sense says why, what happened, and they just said, here's some forms. We give them out to every player. Never this many, but we give them out.
And then we're
like Halloween candy.
We're still going to give you access to the hotel room. We're still going to give you access to all this.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
And I mean, this situation from the jump has been handled completely wrong, because even after all this started to go down, the behavior continued. He continued to do this, and continue to do this. Even after the red flag was sent up in the air, he never stopped. And that, to me, when you continue to knowingly do things, when you know that it's a problem and know that it's been brought to the attention and know that all that, and you continue to do it, that's my problem. Because you had your warning sign. If he'd have just stopped when the first lady came to him and said, listen, what you're doing, I could ruin your career. If he'd have stopped and said, you know what? I apologize. I had a different take on what services we were being offered. I thought this was hand in hand with this. I deeply apologize, and it'll never happen again. And it didn't happen again. fine. But to continue to go down this rabbit hole and continue to hand these women these non-disclosure agreements and continue to do the things that we're reading that he did and expect the NFL to just go, he didn't hurt anybody. It's fine. And for the NFL to go, we don't agree with this, but we're going to just live with it, what the judge says. I'm glad the NFL did this. I'm glad Roger Goodell recused himself from the process, because if he would have taken this appeal and put it on himself and suspended Watson for all these games and fined him and said, there's no appeal after my appeal, then it would have been a bad look on Roger Goodell. It would have been a bad look in the NFL. To appoint an attorney general to give somebody else the access to do this, if the attorney general decides, hey, at 17 games, this guy really did, and I hope the NFL this time presents all 24 or 25 or how many of the cases, not just 3 or 4 of the ones that we thought were the worst. No, give all 24 of these women their voice. Let them tell what happened. Let them show the emotion of what this guy has done to traumatize them. Let this all play out and give this guy the sentence that is rightfully equal to the behavior that he has continued to exude. I feel bad for the Cleveland Browns, but again, this was not like you went and got this guy and then this information was given to you. You had all this information up front. You still chose to give the farm up for him, and I don't feel bad that you're having to miss games out and having to go scramble at the quarterback position because you went and traded for a absolute sexual predator.
Exactly right. I'm going to throw us a curveball, though, real quick. And I deleted a story in our headlines because it really wasn't that big of a deal. It was Hollywood Brown got arrested for criminal speeding. Not that big of a deal. Going way too fast. Not that big of a deal. Did you see the Aaron Rodgers crap?
No.
You didn't see this story?
No.
Aaron Rodgers, I had to bring it up because it's so insane and just weird. Aaron Rodgers says he took a drug over the offseason. It's a psychedelic drug. And he's actually done it the last 2 seasons. And it said the psychedelic drug which causes hallucinations and everything else is the reason why he had back-to-back MVP seasons. But he goes on to talk about he says I was reading some weird stuff earlier on it, man. It was weird. He says it's the only in that unconditional self-love that I'm able to truly be able to unconditionally love others. Something he says later on. I had to laugh at this because this is my quarterback. He said, I laid there after on my mat, then opened my eyes, and it felt like I opened them for the very first time. Oh my gosh. I always knew Aaron Rodgers was kind of crazy and earthy or whatever you want to call him.
This is right down the same path with the I cured myself of kind of gave myself my own COVID vaccine by taking this concoction drink that my fiance gave me.
This
my
is insane.
My question is none of this is none of these hallucination on concoctions that he's taken are on the banned substance list? Like none of those? Or
apparently not. He's up.
Or apparently he took them in the right month and still passed his drug test. And
I don't know how you pronounce it. It's spelled AYAHUASCA. I have no clue.
Yeah.
They say they're used for religious stuff in South Africa.
You're watching too many episodes of Yellowstone where Casey's out here sitting next to the fire thinking he's getting eaten by coyotes. Calm it down,
what?
bro.
What in the world? I have to laugh at it because
and like insane. I said, this is the same deal. This is the same guy that said he was immunized but it didn't really mean he got the shot. It means he took some Indian relic, concoction that is
It's whatever. What's his
which
face?
doctor fiance has driven up to tell him that he's immune now.
He listened to what's his face. It was a podcast. What? Rogan.
Rogan, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Austin says. Patrick says we're killing him over there. I had to laugh at this. I saw something about tides and the moon, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, are you? I mean, I don't. And it's my quarterback. I just have to laugh at him. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But that was a pretty big story, and people are roasting him over this, and I had to get in on the laugh there as well. So I thought that was a little more important than going too fast. But you can move on to the next one now. Are you frozen? Oh no. Oh no. Craig is frozen. Craig, come back. Baby, come back. All right, well, looks like I'm going to take over here for a second as Craig. This hasn't happened in a long time, but it's happening now. Cowboys, this is the next header. Cowboys signed Anthony Barr, and I thought this was a really good pickup for them. Anthony Barr is a guy that did a lot for Minnesota. Okay, he's a guy that can cover, can get to the quarterback, can stop the run as well. He does all of the above. He's very versatile, and to me, this signing is big for them. Probably this might be the biggest signing they've had in the offseason because that's going to allow Micah Parsons to play edge more and be able to go attack the quarterback more. Anthony Barr is a starting linebacker. He's 30 years old. Also says because you're talking Cowboys. I don't want to talk Cowboys. This is just the headlines there, Patrick. And I think this is a good pickup for the Dallas Cowboys. Though he's only 30, and I know we think about 30, and that's kind of when you start hitting your down point in your NFL career, being such a physical sport. But this guy still has something left in the tank, and I think the linebacker core there, the Dallas Cowboys, will be really good this season. And this is honestly going to open up a lot for Micah Parsons to be able to attack the quarterback more and not have to worry about playing the linebacker position and out in coverage as much with Anthony Barr there. So this is big for the Cowboys defense. I really like the signing. I didn't think he was on the market. If he was, I would like him in Green Bay. Anthony Barr. There's Craig. Craig, you haven't lost a feed like that in so long. You froze up. I'm talking to myself. I'm like, Craig. Oh, yeah. Craig is lost.
Yeah. AT&T at its finest.
AT&T at its finest. We already moved on to the Cowboys signing Anthony Barr. I was talking about what a great pickup that was for you guys. I didn't know this guy was on the market. This basically says to me, Micah Parsons is going to be able to rush the quarterback a lot more. Anthony Barr is a starting linebacker in the NFL, and I know he's 30, but he's still got a lot of left in the tank, and this is a great pickup. And I said this might be the best pickup you've had all off season.
And that's exactly what it appears they're doing. It appears they went and signed a linebacker to free Parsons up to now be the other side where they lost Gregory. So now you put Lawrence on one side, you put Parsons on the other, and now you have a capable linebacker and a proven Pro Bowl linebacker and to come in and anchor that down.
He said that when you were gone. I cut your feed.
And so I think that this is exactly what they needed, but they also, I look at it and with the injury to James Washington, I also think they need a wide receiver. So this was a little confusing on that aspect.
Well, and you if you listen to 105 through the fan, you're getting all the information in. You also need a kicker.
You ain't
lying.
My
gosh, this might be the worst kicker that you see.
Or Iherlahu or whatever is not the answer. And I don't know what happened to.
You're frozen again, but I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, it says it's going to disconnect. Okay, I don't know if it's back.
Keep talking though.
Okay.
Oh man. Whew, this is going to be an interesting one. I just closed out of all the other stuff, too. Hold on, guys. We're having some technical difficulties here. What is going on? Sorry, guys. We're having some technical difficulties, and we will be back on in 2 seconds here. I closed out of my notes because I pretty much remembered them all. Oh, this hasn't happened in a while. Let me open back up my notes here. This is probably sounding wonderful out there for you guys. All right. Yes, the Cowboys signed a great linebacker. Anthony Barr did a lot for Minnesota. The next one, Matthew Stafford. Some scary situation out there for, I guess not too scary because he had this injury last season. Matthew Stafford has an elbow injury, and they say this injury is more like tendonitis, and it's something that they said you see more in baseball players than you do in football players. So it's kind of interesting. But he fought through this last season, and look, last season the Stafford they won a championship. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. They are limiting his reps right now. It's probably something he's going to deal with the rest of his career. Tendonitis doesn't kind of go away. He'll deal with it the rest of the season. Maybe he takes some pain-killing shots. Maybe it affects his long ball a little bit. So maybe that's why he threw, those interceptions last year. But he looked pretty good last season, and I'm a little bit worried if I'm a Rams fan, but I'm not too terribly worried because he dealt with it last year and he won. So I think you're still going to be a good team. I still think you're going to win your division. I'm not too worried about the Matthew Stafford news. When I first heard it, I was a little worried, but then I did doing some more research into it. The tendonitis is something. Hey, Greg, welcome back. I was talking about Matthew Stafford now. Moving on to the next one here. And it said that he dealt with this last season, and he played through the pain, and that's what he's going to have to do probably because tendonitis doesn't go away. But probably some cortisone shots and something that he's going to have to deal with throughout the season. And they're limiting his reps right now and just to kind of keep it fresh. But I don't think it's too much to worry about right now for the Ram fans, in my opinion.
No, it sounds like it is a maintainable deal. Some cortisone shots. He won't play the preseason. He'll sit out. He won't play any of the games. I don't think you're going to see a lot of these guys play the preseason. Even the dress rehearsal game doesn't seem to be as important as it used to be. So I think that is just going to be rest and limit the throws and maybe during the season you when you have a game in hand, you see Stafford come out, you see the backup get some more reps in blowout games or games that don't matter or the fourth quarter down the stretch and so I think that they'll deal, but it is something to watch career wise and does this shorten Matthew Stafford's career? Does he just now that he has his Super Bowl, now that he has all the money in the world, does this shorten his career? Does he just say, enough's enough? I've checked all the boxes. I don't need to be Peyton Manning. I don't need to be, you know,
Tom Brady,
the highest. I don't need to be. I don't need to be the highest yardage quarterback, or because at times Stafford was the youngest to get to 30,000, the youngest get to he was he was on trajectory to beat all these guys, and would still be on that trajectory if he continued to play years down the road. We'll see if he does that. We'll see if this injury shortens that. We'll see if I think he was a Hall of Famer before. Now that he won a championship, I think he's a sure Hall of Famer. And we'll see if he just wants to continue to deal with this pain and continue to play this game.
Right. The last one is Demaryius Thomas news today.
Yeah, it came out today that Demaryius Thomas basically passed away of a seizure disorder. They have not been able to genuinely prove whether it was just natural causes from the seizure disorder or linked to the CTE that he had. He did have his brain was given to science or however they want to say that, and proven to have CTE and proven to have a pretty good amount of CTE damage from his time in the NFL. And I think that the more that this time goes along and the more that we look into these types of injuries, while the NFL is doing more for safety precautions, these guys are still taking a huge risk by playing a game, like basically getting into 30 car wrecks, 40 car wrecks a day every Sunday.
Yeah, and one thing they said in there too was that he when they found him, his body was not submerged underwater. There was no he didn't have a seizure and then drowned. So this was due to his seizures, right? And who knows if they'll ever know if it's linked? That's something I don't think they'll ever be able to tell, because I don't think we fully understand what CTE is fully and understand exactly all that it can do to your brain.
Yeah.
We just know it's deadly, and it's something that it has people killing themselves. Okay,
Yeah,
this is
and the
something so
problem.
bad that it has people killing themselves. It had Hernandez murdering other people on a limb. It's insane. It goes from we don't know, and we won't ever know enough about CT and the head trauma that it causes. Um, the NFL would want you to think it doesn't come from taking head injuries.
And
Um,
that's
because I mean, they said there's studies where there's been somebody who's never played football or whatever, or played sports, and they still have CTE when they die. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But to me, it's just kind of common sense. The more you get hit in the head, the more brain damage you're going to have. I don't know.
yeah, I think your boxers. I think your boxers are
Oh
going to
yeah,
have CTE. I think your football players, the NFL 100% does not want this to come out. That's why they're saying, well, there's no proof that it had anything to do with the CTE. I mean, Junior Seau is probably the saddest case. I mean, here's a guy who loved everything, was seemed to be the happy Hawaiian, you know, guy who
yep.
embraced family and embraced deal, and he walks in and kills himself. And the problem that we're having is there's really only one way to test for CTE, and that's after you have already
Right.
passed away, and then remove your brain and test it that way. You can't test for it while you're still alive. So we can't go in to these guys that are actively playing and go, you have CTE, you need to remove yourself from the NFL or whatever, because that could be career ending for so many guys if they've already had
That
multiple concussions.
that could be NFL ending.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because here's a sport who promotes violence and hitting and the harder they hit, and these guys are only getting. This is not like before. From the time when Seau and those guys played to now, these guys are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. Every year you see bigger hits. You see hits that just blow your mind and go, that guy's not going to get up. And somehow he does. And you got guys taking smelling salts before every game. And the
Yep.
game has become what you don't want it to become. And while they've tried to helmets and padding and working with all these companies that have all this, that's great, but you're still, I don't think you'll ever fully protect it and
Oh
make it
no,
go away for sure.
no. It's kind of
And
like
so the
rabies.
NFL wants to make sure that it doesn't ever come out and 100% say that CTE is the cause.
It's kind of like rabies. You won't you don't really know. I mean, at the end of rabies if you have it, but yeah, they have to test your brain and all that stuff. But hopefully that's something they can test later. Maybe that's something science works on. Maybe the NFL and that. But honestly, I think the NFL would want that to come out, because
Yeah.
they were talking about if just 10% of people stopped playing football, it could be detrimental to the league. So I don't know if you watched the movie about CTE with Will Smith in it. It was really good, and the NFL looked really bad in that movie about not wanting the truth to come out, and then they finally said, "Oh well, it's out now. We've got to do something about it. Now we got to try and embrace it." And it's a sad thing for these guys to have and go through, and Junior Seau was the one I think that shocked the league, and then Aaron Hernandez also was another one that literally. I mean, my gosh, that was an insane story. But it's very
Talk
sad
about ruining
and
a career.
oh yeah, ruined a career, ruined people's lives. He shot someone because he spilt his drink in a nightclub.
Yeah.
I mean, just as simple as that, and it makes you act differently and changes your personality, and just insane kind of things. And did you watch that Aaron Hernandez documentary?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Yeah, it was
gosh,
amazing.
guys! If you have not watched it, you gotta watch it. And I kind of want to go back and watch it again. It's so insane. But yeah, CT is a very scary thing, and
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
destroying cell phones and destroying alarm panels and all those that he went through.
oh yeah, he shot and killed his best friend for
Yeah,
nothing. Left,
family.
shot it, threw him out of the yeah, pushed him out of the car, and drove off like it was nothing. So insane. CT is very scary, and unfortunately, it's like one of those things that until you're dead and they test you, then you don't know you have it. And in some families they don't let them test, right? Some you got to sign that form or whatever, the
Yeah,
waiver to
family
hey
or
let's
whatever has to build like a
so
donation.
right. And I kind of wonder how many NFL players that have passed away just natural causes or whatever, they get older, have it, and it wasn't so severe that they felt like they needed to take their life, that they felt different, and they felt angry all the time, and all that stuff. So very very crazy and sad stuff. And Demarius Thomas is very very sad situation. And I wonder, did
Yeah.
he? I mean, I'm guessing he had seizures his whole life. I don't. Is that something that started when he got
That would be
older?
something that would be very curious to find out is did the seizures start at a
Right.
young age or did they start after the NFL and after the CTE, cuz that could be very
Well, it
detrimental
it, it
to.
could have even started in middle school football, high school
That's what I'm
football, where
saying.
he
Once he started
started.
playing
Yeah,
football,
yeah,
not NFL, but just football
yeah.
in general.
I think I think he's had him all his life, and I think um I need to go look that up. I think one of the reports from the interview is his family. I think they said it, but I'm not 100% sure. So, but that's something to look into, definitely.
All right. So we now come to the what's in our locker segment of the evening. Brian, what do you have? What do you have for us in our locker this week?
Oh, what a week it's been. We have all been through it. You, Austin, Eric, we've all been through it at work. It's been ridiculous. I got in the truck today. I had to finish my route with no AC. It's very fun. Sweating bullets. It's been a long week. I've been on the downtown route, which we both hate. I'm kind of getting used to it now. It's kind of not too bad, but this weekend, I have a party that me and you will be at tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. Patrick, oh, hold on. We got to chat. That's my bad. We got to chat. Breakdowns and now party time. Yes. Yes. Party time. Austin, well, his name is Austin, but he goes by Patrick on here. He's throwing a big party at work tomorrow at his house, and we're gonna go play cornhole. Me and Craig have lost our cornhole championship, and we're going to regain it tomorrow. And I want you to know right now, Austin, it's the best 2 out of 3. So don't think you beat us once that you automatically win. No, it's 2 out of 3, both ways. We've got to regain that title. The cornhole championship. We got the pool going. We're gonna have a good time hanging out, food, and so that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I got to fix a flat tire tomorrow. I woke up, I drove halfway down the street and realized something's a little off, and I get out and I got a flat tire, so I had to turn around and roll myself 5 miles per hour back to home. No, we're using the good ones, Austin. We're not using the crappy bags you got. I might need to bring my boards too, with your crappy boards, but
them slick.
they're slick, man. You iced them. It's like you slicked them down. But anyways, I had to change a tire tomorrow. I have to go shopping. I got to work tomorrow. So the party tomorrow is well needed at the end of the day, and then we're gonna start a meal prep on Sunday and start trying to eat healthier, which is fantastic. Yes, Austin, you know your bags are super slick, or not your bags, but your boards. Don't lie, but those bags should help. So me and Craig will let you know next week. We'll let you know on Tuesday if we got the championship back at the house. I want to go buy some WWE championship belts so we can paint on it. We can spray paint like cornhole on it or something, and we can literally take home some championships. But other than that, that's what I got forward to this weekend. I'm actually bringing the wife there tomorrow, so y'all get to meet her. I know that's a running joke that I don't ever bring my wife or kids out to Austin's parties, but the wife is coming out tomorrow. So, what do you got in your locker this week, Craig?
Well, we're gonna finish up the work week in the morning, and probably work some more on the driving and the getting the permit taken care of. Even though we have till November now, it's not as accelerated as we thought. And then Austin's party, and I got a bowl on Sunday night, and we're wrapping up the summer season and getting ready for fall that will start just after Labor Day. But yeah, we're gonna enjoy some time together and have some fun with the pool and cornhole and
These are our new cookouts.
Yeah. Cookouts are the
Cookouts.
best, and we're gonna do that and just try to recoup from a long week. I ran the front part of the week with no air condition, but talked to the right people and said the right words and got it repaired. So but yeah, you just ready for the summer to wind down and get ready for there's a hunting expo next weekend on Sunday. It's Saturday and Sunday, but we normally go on Sunday because you get all the deals of people trying to leave the expo, and we'll probably go to that and see if there's any kind of deals. But just some much needed downtime getting into the first week of this route by myself, and it went pretty well for the week. Today we ran into a little snafu, but I mean it happens.
Oh yeah, I got one of those today too.
Yeah. No, I saw.
I still got to deal with that tomorrow.
Yeah, have fun with that. I'm not gonna be around for that. But yeah, no. So we're just it's just me and my son this weekend. We're gonna hang out and I was trying to get him to come with me tomorrow, but for whatever reason he doesn't
Put him on. Tell him to come.
Doesn't do the social butterfly thing real well. And
he's your son. You might need to get him tested because I can't believe that.
So he just kind of keeps himself, does his own thing, and so pools and I guess barbecue and on the border isn't his thing. I guess I don't really know. So but yeah, looking forward to that and looking forward to just to some time off and definitely looking forward to the cornhole championship belt being back where it belongs.
Yes, yes, we'll have them hung up on the podcast.
Yeah, right here behind the shoulder, champion of the world. And then if we're not, we're just not going to talk about it Tuesday.
We won't even talk about it.
This discussion didn't happen. So what belts?
Yes, for damn sure.
So
damn sure.
And Patrick's comments will be blocked for.
Yeah, man, Patrick's been quiet this episode. I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, so we're ready for that, and it'll just be it'll just be time to get back next week and hit it again, and one day at a time. So yeah, me and Brian will be back on Tuesday to bring you the talks on Tuesday. We normally do highlights of the week. Hopefully we have some more. It was kind of a slow after the Deshaun verdict.
It slowed down big time.
It became kind of slow. We did have some Major League Baseball trades that we might be able to get into on which teams are kind of setting themselves up for the long run. There was some injuries in Major League Baseball that we might can talk about on Tuesday, and NFL preseason. This is the first weekend of that, so even though not a lot of the big names will play, we can still kind of cover the what happened and some of the highlights from the preseason. So we will see you guys on Tuesday. Until then, you can find us on all the podcast platforms. We live stream on YouTube. We put it out on Apple and Google and Twitch and all the podcast platforms. And we will see you on Tuesday night. And until then, remember, keep it outspoken.